The things you think about when you're groveling up a drag, and you know you've got a very steep climb ahead of you, just 10% further up. 3 million sweat glands on a human body, average, yeah? Won't ask you to count them. About 1.5 million of those are located on your upper body, so torso, chest and back. And they also produce a lot of sweat. So with 110 we've mapped where the sweat glands are and also the amount of sweat they produce. So areas of high sweat production, low sweat production. Sweat's the main way of your body losing heat, apart from ventilation on a bike. Radiation, conduction, other things, but basically ventilation is the biggest factor. The speed you've got, wind speed, especially on this steeper bit I've just got on. So 1.5 million sweat glands upper body. Also looking at where your body produces heat. So today it's my legs, my lungs, so I'm breathing in and out, my voice box as I'm talking to you, but that's where the work's happening. Legs, thighs, calf muscles, gluteal muscles, lower back also because I'm pushing hard here, trying to go up this hill. You've got a lot of excess heat to lose, do that through sweating. So all these sweat glands on the upper chest and the upper back are the main way you perspire. Everybody knows they sweat under their arms. Well, a lot of that's actually sweat running, and it's not the biggest place you produce sweat, believe it or not. You evaporate off here. So what do you do with base layers? So I've got a prototype on just now in a terrible white colour that's all grey because I've been mountain biking with it, doing all sorts with it, trying to be bad to it, and it's probably done about 65 hours of riding so far. So I had a little bit of a hard life, especially with sweaty me. Placing fabrics where we need them. So here we've got a very absorbent but very high wicking, fast drying fabric, a polyester on the front, about 160 grams a square metre for those that are taking note. To take sweat off the body, to move it to areas where you're sweating less, where it can dry faster. And the whole thing's about drying. Remember, wet fabrics lose heat a lot faster than dry ones, through conduction and also through evaporation. And then what we do, you know, so many people just make a base layer out of one fabric next to skin layer, but we want something that will maximise drying, keep you dry as possible, keep that layer next to skin dry, allow you to trap air, stay warm, stay comfortable, stay at the optimal temperature. So you'll see in the back of this garment there's a mesh, a much more open structure, lighter fabric, much more ventilation. An area where I sweat a lot, so still enough fabric to move sweat away, but also to allow direct exit of vapour a lot faster. And you can do that on the back because the wind speed's coming from the front. So it's sort of a safer, better place where you can lose heat. You don't want full mesh here in cold weather like today because you're actually going to get cold and you're probably going to overload the fabric on the front. So we've got mesh down the back on the steep climb now, and also mesh right under the arms of this long sleeve garment. So again, you've got heavier fabric here, still wicking sweat, still drying very fast, and then where we can, much more open fabric, 1 in 10 here. What we've also done is engineered some structure into the fabric so that on a microscopic level it stays off your skin slightly. Yeah? So when I'm sweating, it's not stuck in my skin, sitting off it a little bit. So you get a micro ventilation. So that feels much more comfortable. Yeah, you're not just completely soaked in something wrapping you, sticking to your body, and also chance of more ventilation, more circulation of small air currents, faster wicking. So yarn's moving, sweat vapour, moving moisture away to areas where it can dry off, to the other layers I'm wearing, and also areas which are much more open, based on what your body function is, based on where you produce sweat, and also areas where you can lose heat without worrying about freezing. But remember, it's that battle, because I'm continuing to pile sweat and heat into my clothing as I plod up this climb. And of course I know what's going to happen on this climb. Dry just now, which is great. It's going to be pouring on the other side, so maybe speak to you then. Cheers.